Is cracking. Welcome back to the Life and Lifts podcast. My camera is blurry. Let me fix that. My bad. All right, let's jump straight in. So the last couple podcast episodes I've put out have been, I don't know, I feel like they haven't been very shit talky. So I just thought I would jump on. I've got ChatGPT to write me a bunch of different questions, and I'm just going to go through the list and just answer them all. Yeah, there's no structure to this podcast today. I'm just genuinely just talking some smack. I'll start off with life, how life has been. Training, deficit, been going pretty well. And life in general has been, I'm a very routinal person for those who know me. I like to rinse and repeat what I do. I put all my energy into work, into training and nutrition, and shit, that's pretty much what I do. Training, nutrition, work, that's what I do, really. I like to put in a little bit of time for eating food and reading some books and watching a little bit of movies here and there. But other than that, I don't do much else. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've been putting out a heck of a lot of content. If you haven't seen, if you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure to go over there, coach_riley.nikolic. Go hit it up. I've been putting out a lot of reels. I'm running a giveaway at the moment, so that's been going pretty well. Yeah, super exciting. Can't wait to announce the winner in the next couple of days. I think we have 4 days left until the winner's announced. So if you haven't got onto that yet, jump into it. I'll put it in the show notes, or you can enter through the link in my bio. But other than that, just been training, deficiting, doing a bit of labor work at the moment, working on some grapevines, which has been good fun, and it gives you perspective doing some different type of work. After just working predominantly in the gym for the past year, working and doing labor work has definitely given me perspective around, what hard work actually looks like. I think you forget about it when you're not exposed to it enough. So it's kind of a blessing to be in the position I am and be doing hard shit that is outside of the norm. Gives me a lot more gratefulness, gives me a lot more gratitude towards my job and how easy it really is, which is cool. But in terms of deficit and training, just been chipping through. I've actually started to hit a bit of a wall with my lifting. I feel like my recovery is starting to finally get to the point where it's getting a little bit worse in the deficit. This week has been a little bit tough, nothing crazy, but it's just finally getting to that point. Every other week I was increasing load, and just this past week and a bit started to hit me. Energy levels have dropped a tiny bit. Hunger levels have increased a shit ton, but we've got 4 more weeks left. Less than 3 more weeks left, really. We're just going to hammer it out, go as hard as we can. I've consulted with Coach Sard, and we're going to start implementing a little bit of cardio and just going hard the next few weeks. I believe he said the maximal amount we want to drop bodyweight wise in this one deficit period is about 10 to 12%, which for me, I started at about nearly 86. So if I could get to 76, that'd be pretty much where we would stop. But we'll see what happens. That's still a couple kilos away. Right now I'm sitting around that 78.5, 78 mark. So there's still work to be done here. But without further ado, let's jump into the podcast with the questions that ChatGPT has answered. So the prompt I gave it was, I want to do a shits and gigs episode. Can you write me a bunch of questions to answer based off what you know about me? And here is what it has given me. All right, question number 1. If I could be a superhero for one day, what would your powers be? And how would you use them to crush your goals? Okay, if I could be a superhero for one day, what would my powers be and how would I use them to crush my goals? First thing that's coming to mind is super strength and just go win every powerlifting comp, and that's the first thing. But then it's what's the point? I feel like if you were given it all, there's no point to it. I think The journey itself is what you want to go through. Like if I was super strong, I wouldn't even need to go train because I could just lift whatever I wanted. There'd be like no purpose to doing it. I feel like without the purpose and without the inputs, it just takes away the actual, what's the point in even doing that? I reckon it's super intelligence, to be honest. Just knowing everything. That way you can just execute on exactly what you needed to do. If I could have a lens or like a chip in my brain, or just my brain could just process everything and give me an exact map and almost show me every single fucking molecular in my sphere, that'd be pretty sick. Being able to know, like almost implement brain game plans into your brain and just like see life through that, that'd be cool. And if I could like switch it on and off, I think that'd be pretty hectic. Maybe if I could double my productivity, that'd probably be some cool superpowers. But I would want a superpower that would still allow me to, that would still, a superpower where I would still need to work towards the goal itself. If I had a superpower that just gave me the goal, then I would feel quite like flat and purposeless. Like in life, you need to have tasks to work towards, and you need to be able to, I believe you have to work hard to get there. And I think it should be a journey, and I don't think you should just have it all at once. So I'd want super intelligence. That's what I would have. Question number 2. What's one thing you'd say to someone who's stuck in their not good enough mindset? Bonus points if you say it in the most no nonsense way possible. Okay. So if someone's stuck in a not good enough mindset, what would I say to them? If you don't feel good enough, it's for a reason. In order to feel good enough, you need to have evidence against the thing that's making you not feel good enough. For example, if you don't like the way you look, you need to have like evidence and proof to state otherwise. If you have a shit physique and you feel shit about your physique, I mean, why should you feel good about it? Genuinely. You need to have evidence to be like, objectively, I don't actually have a shit physique. And in order to achieve that, you have to put in the work and do the things. If you don't feel like you're smart enough, you have to educate yourself to a certain degree where you can get to a standard, so then you can objectively look at it and be like, okay, I've passed this test that sets me at this level, and that way I know that I'm not just a dumbass, Like there has to be proof in place so you can use evidence against that belief you have about yourself. So yeah, if you don't feel good enough, ask yourself what you don't feel good enough in, then find a mode or a method to get better at, and then use the evidence from that mode to then use against that belief. Example, I'm not strong enough. Go enter a powerlifting comp, follow a proper training program, execute on that training program, push yourself as hard as you can, try to get the best numbers you possibly can, and then ask yourself that same question: am I good enough, or am I strong enough? Chances are your strength's increased. Whether it's at the level you're happy with or not is up to your own discernment, but at least from there you have you've started working towards changing that belief. So that is how I do that. That's actually a great question. Thank you, ChatGPT. Let's go to the next, number 3. You've had plenty of people hit you up about feeling overwhelmed. What's your go-to stress relief method when it feels like everything's coming at you at once? Fuck, this is actually good. All right, so whenever you feel overwhelmed and you feel like shit's hitting you all at once, there's a couple key things that I like to do. One of them is reference times in my life where I've felt overwhelmed, and then I've overcome that feeling and I've found the solution to the thing I felt overwhelmed about. Now, if you reflect back in your life, there's going to be countless times where you've overcome a difficult situation, and you can just use that as a reference point to then, you can use it as a reference point, and you can use it as your evidence to be like, okay, I've felt this same feelings before, and I overcame that, and I came out better on the other side. You can use that exact same framework and method to overcome that. The next thing is like relying on a support network, having people around you can talk to, bounce ideas off, gain reassurance. I'll tell you a big one that I actually like to use if I'm a little bit doubtful about a certain thing that I want to do, for example, I'm making content, I'm a little bit doubtful around the information I'm putting out, and I want to fact check it and just make sure that what I'm saying is correct and that I'm pronouncing it and saying it in a way that's actually going to help people and impact people. I ask ChatGPT, I'm going, hey ChatGPT, yada yada, here's my idea, here's what I'm stating, is this correct, what do you think about it? Just so I can get that like reaffirm, I just get ChatGPT to reaffirm that what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to state is actually correct. And that just instantly gives me evidence to be like, okay, cool, this is correct. I can put this out. Yep. Obviously do your due diligence. ChatGPT ain't always correct, but I ask it for even general life questions. I ask it to like, just help me with that. So for the overwhelm, it's pretty much use evidence from previous experiences of when you overcome overwhelm or distress, support networks, mentors, friends, people you trust, people who are more knowledgeable than you, ChatGPT. That's the main methods I would use. And then 3 is just viewing things through systems and frameworks, and having data is so important. If you feel like you're not making progress and you start feeling overwhelmed, if you have data, you can very quickly look at the data and then go, oh, cool, I actually am making change, or I'm not making change. And then from there, you can quickly assess. So referencing past experience, having a support network, a coach, a mentor, a friend, and having data. So that's fucking important. Having the right system and having the right data into that system. Yeah, I talk about this a lot, but a lot of people don't understand that fat loss, training progress, it is genuinely mathematical equations. It's about creating a system or a game plan that works and that is specific to your goal and going to take you to where you want to be. And then from there, it's just inputting the data and then just reviewing the data to make sure you're moving in the correct direction. Like, sounds pretty nerdy, but genuinely that is what progress is in a training sense, in a business sense, in a lot of different senses. If you just track the inputs, then you're sweet. So yeah, that's my tip. Question number 4. What's a training myth that still gets under your skin? Something that drives you crazy when you hear it. Something that probably drives me crazy would have to be like people trying to do cardio for fat loss. And it's not the actual doing cardio is a bad thing or like high intensity interval training for fat loss. It's just that it's breeding an unsustainable habit. The way you achieve fat loss is through creating a calorie deficit and then sustaining that calorie deficit for an extended period of time. If you are trying to do high intensity interval cardio or running for the purpose of burning fat, and so you can like allow yourself to eat more food or whatever the case is, one, it's not following a measurable, trackable system. Like the data inputs are just too variable. Your HIIT workout could burn 300 calories one day and 200 calories the next day. It's just inconsistent. It also drives fatigue in your body. So if you're fatiguing yourself, then you're not gonna be able to train as hard. And if you're not gonna be able to train as hard, you're not gonna be able to grow or maintain as much muscle mass. If you don't have as much muscle mass, you're not gonna have a higher metabolism, which is gonna make it even harder to lose fat loss, to achieve fat loss. That's just from one standpoint. Number 2 is it's associated with negative. It's associated with negative connotation. Like you're trying to either punish yourself for overeating, or you're just trying to I don't know. It's just negative. I can't explain it. I haven't met a person who's doing high intensity interval training or running to lose fat who's doing it sustainably. Now, it's different when you're a bodybuilder and you're in a prep and you're doing like Stairmaster and you're doing planned cardio sessions. That is a planned, strategic amount of cardio put into a plan properly. When you're a random person, Sally, Bob, Jane at the local group training gym who's trying to do this, it's not going to work. You need to be like having a system. You need to track your food inputs. You need to manipulate your habits. You need to adjust these bigger measures before you start adding in cardio and running and trying to burn fat through that way. It's just not a good system. So it fucking irks me because so many people do it And then they're just training themselves into the ground. They're really unsustainable. They're eating fucking nothing. And then they're yo-yoing and eating a fuck ton. And they wonder why they can't actually see the progress. Whereas if they just, had a proper system, they learned their numbers, they learned how to navigate nutrition and just track calories and macros and understand the basics of energy in, energy out, and how to navigate that. Then creating a system that works for them, their lifestyles and their goals, and then finding something they can stick to over a long period of time consistently, and it doesn't take away from the other things they care about in life too much, that would achieve the outcome. Not trying to fucking run. Like, running and shit should be done to push performance goals and to challenge yourself mentally and build up that endurance because it's fun. It shouldn't be to burn fat. That is my take on it, and that is something that fucks me off so much. It irks the shit out of me, and I see the same people doing that. They never actually get the progress they want, and that fucking triggers me. That actually pisses me off, because not that they're not putting the work in, their system just sucks. Cool, next. This is a random question. If you could do a crazy powerlifting stunt and live to tell the tale, what would it be? If I could do a crazy powerlifting stunt, fuck, I don't even know. A crazy powerlifting stunt. Yeah, I'm out of water. It's all right, I'll just dry mouth it for you guys for this potty. Yeah, that's a shit question. Skip. Cool. Next question. We've all got that weird food habit. What is yours? And if you don't have one, what's the most random thing you've ever heard of? Weird food habit. When I was a kid, I used to have celery, cream cheese, and sultanas, and they were called ants on logs. And that's probably the weirdest thing I've ever done in terms of food selection. Other than that, shit, I don't even know. It depends what your definition of normal or weird is, really. I used to eat chicken mince. If you ever have chicken mince, that stuff makes your guts go crazy. Horrible protein farts. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I've had some weird food combos. I've had like a protein ice cream on top of oats with like xanthan gum. Back in the day when I had a shitty relationship with food, I used to love all of them like low calorie, high protein, anabolic food options. And I used to make this protein, like fluff protein ice cream. It'd be like ice, protein powder, xanthan gum, some sort of yogurt or some sugar-free soft drink, and you'd make it into a blended ice cream mix. And then, because I used to be a madman who had an unsatiable appetite, I would put that on top of oats, and it'd be like 600 calories for this fucking monster bowl of like food. And I would eat that, and to the point I would feel sick eating it because there was so much volume. And I just frothed it, and I'd have like sugar-free syrup on there and just go fucking hard. I don't recommend doing that nowadays. I think if you're getting to that point where you're, doing that sort of stuff with your dieting, you're manipulating your food that much, you probably just have, psychological barriers you need to work on within your mindset surrounding food. Like nowadays, like here's generally my food that I'm eating. Like this is, I know I'm eating, podcast is on. This is like potato, pork chop, and vegetables, This is the type of shit I'm eating in the deficit. And that's something that I find enjoyable and yum. Like back in the day, I'd probably be trying to find sweet shit and trying to add like chocolates in and all that stuff. And I think it's just because I had like more of an unhealthy relationship with food. Yeah, it's not that I don't like those foods. It's just that this is what nourishes my body now, and this is what helps me achieve the goal. I still love eating additional foods. I just don't crave it like I used to. Yeah. That's the most random thing I've done. Imagine you could only give 3 pieces of advice for the rest of your life. What would they be? Aim to achieve goals based off your why. Follow a game plan and track the data along the way. Challenge yourself. push hard, be fucking relentless. That would have to be the three things I would set. The first one is the why. If you don't have a why behind doing anything in life, you're not going to be consistent with it. You're not going to have a deep reasoning behind it. I literally made a podcast episode all around a why, like you're having your why. It is the single-handedly most important thing. And with a man with a why can endure anyhow. Like if you have a deep enough reason to do something, you can overcome anything to achieve that. Like that's just as simple as it is. I think it's so crucial. Plus, it means it's important to you. If having a jacked physique isn't important to you, why the fuck should you work towards it? You have to sacrifice shit to achieve your goals. You have to invest time. You have to not spend time with loved ones. You have to do all this additional shit. If it's not important to you, why would you even do it? You know what I mean? So having your why. The second one is following a game plan. Too many people just do random shit and just expect the outcome to come to them. If you're not following principles, you're not following a strategic plan, you're not going to fucking get anywhere. And if you don't have the data followed, like if you don't have the data to go along with that, you're not going to be able to measure and track progress. And you can spend 3 months on this plan that's not even taking you in the right direction. And then if you don't have the data, you didn't fucking know. If you had the data, you could quickly analyze and see, oh, shit's not working. Let's make some adjustments here and there. Yeah. And the last one was, push yourself. Do hard shit. It makes you a better person. Life opens up more. Things are just more exciting, more fun. There's more to achieve. It's just better in every facet, in my opinion. So push yourself. Yeah, there's a lot of questions here. There's a lot of questions in here. I'm not going to do the whole list. It's going to be too long of an episode otherwise. So we'll do a couple more. I'll do 2 to 3 more and then we'll wrap up, I reckon. So let's go to the next one. What's your craziest training or business advice? Oh, hang on. How do you manage to maintain that weaponized mindset when things aren't going your way? Any conventional tricks? That's so funny how ChatGPT uses that based off what I tell it. I always use that word weapon. Fucking weapon. Be a weapon. How do I maintain a weaponized mindset when things aren't going your way? All right, there's a couple of key things. It comes back to your why. So long in my life, I wasn't weaponized and I was just scared and I didn't allow myself to shine. I didn't allow myself to believe within myself. And once I started training, I used training as my evidence to build confidence within myself. Once I developed that confidence, I then wanted to share that with other people, and I wanted to just pursue that more and more. That feeling of just feeling unstoppable and feeling like a fucking weapon is just it is unsatiable. I can like a fucking lion trying to hunt it. I could spend all day of the rest of my life working relentlessly to achieve that. Like it just gives me energy. When I think about it and talk about it, it gives me energy. The top tips to stay in that mindset, it's kind of like what I've gone through before. Like think of other times you've gone through hard shit and you've come out on the other side clearer than ever on your vision. Just understand life is like seasons and phases, and it's okay to be scared and lost and overwhelmed and unsure. And it'll come back around and you'll be that lion on a hunt soon enough. As long as you don't just like fall into it and be a fucking victim. Allow yourself some more time and space during those phases where you feel, like you aren't doing well and things are going shit. Just actually allow yourself the time and space to sit in that and just analyze yourself, be introspective and ask, why do I feel like this? And, very clearly there should be reasons as to why. If not, it's also just okay to feel. Like human beings are meant to just feel things. That's what we are here to do. It's what we are, We're multifaceted beings who are here to experience shit, and whether that be positive, negative, there's beauty in all of it, and there's learning lessons in it all. And if you can just learn to just sit within it, I think that's a massive skill to have and super important as well. And it makes you such a more like well-equipped human you're able to just hold so much more space and be such more of a rock in difficult times. If you can just, have that knowing that you're going to be okay no matter what happens. And I think ultimately that is like having a weaponized mindset. It's something you build. It's an understanding that you're not always going to feel okay. Things aren't always going to be sweet, but it's ultimately just not giving up. And it's just pushing through no matter what. Genuinely. If your family dies, keep going. Like it's having that relentlessness. I don't know how to systemize that. This is something that I have. I built it from a very young age, and it comes down just to wanting more for myself and for others. I just want to see the best in myself and the best in everyone. I feel like that ultimately brings me closer to the life of having experience, having connections, and having purpose, which are my 3 key values in life: experience, connections, and purpose. The more intention and more tenacity you can hit life with, the closer you are, and the more of those values are surrounding your life, which for me equals more happiness and more fulfillment, more joy, beautiful relationships. That's what I'm aiming for. Okay, powerlifting comp day. Next question. Oh, hang on. Here we go. What's the craziest training or business advice you've ever received, and why did you not follow it? Craziest business advice. Shit, craziest business advice. I don't really think I've had a lot of crazy business advice. I feel like some of the ones where, like, you know how you get them Instagram influencers who are very, like, just cringe? I've definitely had to adopt more of that cringiness, I'm not going to lie. Like, when you get to a certain point, you realize that being clickbaity and doing all these things actually, like, it gives you traction and gives you clicks, and it's what you actually need to get more eyes in front of you so you can be more of a genuine human being and actually help people. But to start out, I think you have to be a little bit clickbaity, which is something I didn't do at the start. I was very, like, raw, and my content would be very boring and long formed and drawn out. I tried to explain every single key component instead of just, like, making shit simple. And, you know, even if it does sound a little bit clickbaity, like, here's why you're not losing fat, or you're fat because of this. And you know, that's not showing the whole picture, but it's showing one specific, like, point of view that I have that is going to help that person. So I didn't follow it at the start, and now I've started to, which I've found it helps more, and it makes my content and what I put out more simple for people to just digest and take away one key point from the view that I'm looking at it from. Like, when I do that, I'm looking at it from a lens of one specific view. I'm not trying to see the whole view. I'm trying to speak to one specific problem, to one specific person, and that's honestly helped me a lot. But yeah, I'm going to have to wrap this podcast up, guys. My camera's going to go flat, and I reckon that's enough. ChatGPT, this is the episode on ChatGPT giving me questions, and it's a Q&A from ChatGPT, so I don't know what the hell I'm going to title this. I don't even care. But as always, guys, before I wrap up, coaching spots are available in person, online, or hybrid. You can apply for a free consult or a online booking through the link in my Instagram bio, or I'll also put it in the show notes. There is 4 days left to enter my $2,000 coaching giveaway, which you can use towards any of my coaching packages. If you are looking to gain confidence, build a better physique, get stronger, and become a fucking weapon, this giveaway is too good to miss out on. All right, wrapping up. Camera died. As I was saying, coaching giveaway, less than 4 days. Get around it. If you want to change your physique, change your mindset, and ultimately improve your life, this is the absolute steal. If you send it through, if you refer a family or a friend, when you complete the form, you'll also be given an extra entry into the giveaway. So best of luck. If you want to get jacked, DM me for coaching. But other than that, catch you guys, and I love you. Bye.